And it's always important when you're going to shift between screens that you add yourself to the screen. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Listen, I changed sets. I changed backgrounds to be able to bring you this interview today and this topic today. I'm so excited because all week, I need your help really helping me determine a name for these podcasts, these talk shows about relationships, because I don't have a name yet, y'all. Who am I? Kisa Sharp. I am Coach K. And I am the hostess of Evolve Talk Show, which comes on at 12 noon on Friday. Okay. I am the hostess of Kisa and Joe, which is 10 a.m. every Wednesday. Okay. We tape live at Filter Coffee Parlor. And I am just your relationship encourager. I'm just entering into this space. So I need your help in helping me to name this, because this just keeps going and going and the conversation keeps getting richer and richer. So speaking of richer and richer, right? Last week on our talk shows, on our evening talk shows, we talked about what mature women want in relationships, right? Because it's just my friends, family, it's just come to my attention in a major way that we are having a problem connecting, okay? Probably has been that way for some time, but for whatever reason in this season, it is very obvious. So last week, we talked about what mature women want in relationships. So this week, I thought, let's bring on the guys and let's see what the guys have to say about relationships and what's actually wanted in mature relationships. And I must admit to you, our guest tonight, I have actually been following him on social media, and I love people who give me a dose of, I'm Miss Positivity, right? But for those who can give me a laugh, say something intriguing or positive, or even if they like to stir up the pot a little bit. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest because he's a gentleman, because I'm a lady. I don't know what the guys want. We're going to have to bring the guys on this week. So that's what Kisa is doing. That's what Coach K is doing. I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, my new friend, entrepreneur, and I'm going to let him explain that because that was so cool. That was so cool. Entrepreneur, Xavier T. Smith. What's up, friend?
Hey, how you doing? Hold the applause, people.
Hold the applause. You have to explain, because I actually told you, we were talking through before we came on the interview. And I was like, okay, Xavier, I want to make sure I introduce you right. I want to make sure I include everything. And you just kind of came up with that term, entrepreneur, because as a fellow entrepreneur, how I understand all the hats that we wear and all the things that we do. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to the good people at home this evening what in the world the entrepreneur is? That was cool.
Yeah, it's funny because it's, I think people, we live in a world where everyone wants to put you in a box. Like, you have to have some type of label to be identified. And that's the thing. It's like, I can't just be put in one box. And it's funny when you said, what I want to be called. As I said, entrepreneur would probably be pretty accurate, only because of what I do for a living to make money, or most money rather. But the cool thing about being an entrepreneur is you get to, you're allowed to wear whatever you get to do whatever you want to. Mm-hmm. And if people say, hey, what do you do for a living? I just say whatever I want. So it's like, which is why right now we're recording, in the middle of the day, because and that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. But the thing is people know me more so because of, my social media presence. So, and I guess some will say I'm an influencer, but but technically I'm an entrepreneur. So I was like, if we want to just label me, just put them together, entrepreneur.
I love that. I was just done with that because, friend, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably going to borrow that, because the deal is, are you okay with that?
You're welcome. Go for
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Consider it a
Thank
gift.
Thank you. I was like, that is pretty doggone cool. I'm being an English minor. I'm somewhat of a wordsmith, so I absolutely love words and how they all work together and string together. So that was kind of cool. I must admit, sir, right on the spot. So
Yeah.
and I also have an intricate understanding of how people try to ask you what you are. I had a conversation yesterday, and a young lady was like, "Okay, now what do you do?" And okay, what are you? And I didn't answer. I just said, "Well, I do this," and she said, "Oh." She put me in the title of entrepreneur because, as you said, people are very comfortable giving us those titles, even though there are a multitude of things that we do, and I'm grateful for it in this season. So,
All
listen,
right.
Xavier, let's get right on to the topic, sir.
Okay.
I told you that we get connected somehow in social media. Technically, we just get connected, which is the beautiful thing about social media when it works correctly. But my question to you, and I'm going to just go right in. I'll come around to some other things. Women are struggling, Xavier. They're wondering, what do mature men want in relationships? Can you help? I'll stand proxy for the sisters, okay? Because they probably wouldn't ask you that. I'm going to stand proxy for them and say, just right off bat, what do mature men want in relationships?
Whew. Well, you threw that word mature in, and that kind of threw off my whole. I was like, what do men want or what do mature men want? That's two different things. You really
Hey,
kind of threw
hey,
that curveball in there.
hey,
Um,
Xavier.
huh?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I actually like that, what you just said, because if there is a difference, help us out. If it's just what men want, you can talk about that. And if there is a difference of mature men, we're all ears. Okay, all ears.
Well, I guess. Well, I can't speak for all men. Let me say that
Sure,
because I know it's
sure.
coming. But I can only speak for of course, myself. But you know, based off of my experience and my observations. And let me also say this: I'm not any kind of expert. I'm just a person who likes to post. But from my experience, what do we want? In short,
Yeah.
we want peace
Mm.
and sex. And sex. Yeah, however that comes, we want peace and I know, I know y'all are like, it's got to be more than that. Not really, but not really. That's really what we want: peace and sex. Now now when you say mature, I
Yeah.
guess let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what define mature? Because I want to make sure we're on the same page. Define mature.
That's actually a great question. Mature, I would say a man who has been around the block. He may have been divorced. He may be divorced, and entering into that love scene again, or that love arena again, or looking for maybe another wife. And if not a wife, a long-term commitment. But we're talking about someone who's been around the block a couple of times. And I would define mature, maybe not even as an age, but a state of mind, a kind of a gentleman who has been out there. Maybe even he's had several relationships or several marriages, and he would be open to having a good relationship and a good woman, maybe even open to marriage if that woman presented what he needed. So, someone who just not as far as an age, but a state of mind, whereas he would be willing if what he wanted or needed, maybe even a better way, was available in a woman. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, when you say mature, I'm gonna go by, I guess, my definition. I
Okay.
mean, which I agree with you. But what I would define as someone that's mature, someone who's who's experienced, that they've, like you said, um they're they have a I guess a different outlook in life.
Yes.
They're not about they're when I think mature, I think that they're honest, and they're not about games. That's
Game.
kind of what I think. Yeah.
That's good. That's
What
good.
I believe a mature man wants, and you say in relationship.
Yeah.
Um, well, number one, I think they want companionship. Um, I believe they want companionship. They want, of course, love. Um, they want um, a legacy.
Mm.
They want a legacy. They want I would group family into with legacy, whatever that legacy is.
Mm.
And and they definitely they want respect.
Mm.
They want to be respected. Like of course, they want to be respected within their household, but they also want the respect of their peers. So
Mhm.
that's what I would say a mature man would want, in my opinion.
Sure. Well, here's the thing, Xavier. I think that, I think that we're okay hearing from one man's opinion, because as a man, you're gonna, even if you say, well, this is just my opinion, I think there's a subset, you know that is going to think like you. If you're pretty much a level-headed guy, there's going to be a subset who's going to be hovering around that same thing. I think it's left up to the woman to find out individually, per her guy or someone she's dating or interested in, or if
Yeah.
it's taking a serious turn, what that means. But I love that you're at least helping, navigate us, point us in the right direction. Two things that you talked about and that you mentioned that I have to touch on. Um, I want to go back to this thing about peace in a minute, but you mentioned legacy for a mature guy, Xavier. And do you know, I'm 52. You're a little bit younger than me. I'm
Okay.
52. And I have heard, gentlemen, two of my friends in that 50 plus arena, that is exactly what they have mentioned. They have mentioned, I've lived, and now it's time for me to look at making things better for who comes behind me. I'm talking about twice. Two of my good friends, good buddies. And
Hmm.
can you help women understand that, like when she's dating a mature man, when you talk about legacy, why does that come into play as a more mature man, which both of my friends are in their 50s, but I've even seen guys in their 40s even look at that, leaving something behind for their children. And so get to the point, Kisa. Point is, why is legacy important? And what do women need to understand about that for the mature man?
I think it's as a man, your imprint that you leave on this earth is very important. Um, and the way you be remembered means a lot. You I mean, I'm speaking as a guy. I have two kids, and it's very important to me how they see me. And how your peers, your friends, you when you leave this earth, you want people to, you know I guess you want them to have a positive experience about you. And I mean that, and uh, uh, just being a man, I think is, what is it, what's the word I'm looking for, just it, how we're perceived by the world is very important to us.
Mm,
Every, I feel like deep down, every man want to be seen as great.
mm,
This historically, you look at, any of the legends, they want to be the greatest. You want to be seen as the greatest. And everyone can't be Martin Luther King. Everybody can't be, Michael Jordan. Everybody can't be Mike Tyson. But you still want to be, at least within your circles, you want to be seen as the greatest or the GOAT or whatever. And no, just as a man, I think it is really instilled in us to, to be, the best. We're just normally competitive, I feel, and we're just normally competitive, and um yeah, and honestly, I think it's a bit of our ego, but I think, normally it's a little bit of our ego talking, but yeah, we want to be seen as the greatest, or at least looked up to, and of course, we definitely want to leave something to the next generation. My kid, because again, personally, I want my kids to be able to look up to me, and I also don't want them to have I want them to have obstacles, but I don't want them to struggle the way that I did.
Yeah.
I want things to be
Yeah.
easier for them. So I want them to have obstacles for character development, but I don't want them to, I want them to have resources, and I want them to, figure it out, so they can be better people for the generation following them.
I love it. I love it. In fact, the Bible, and some people may roll their
Mhm.
roll their eyes and go, "Oh boy, there she goes." But it talks about leaving an inheritance for your children. That is that is
Right.
a an admirable thing to do. And I can say a lot of things about my father, Reginald Sharp Sr., but my father did leave some things for his children that put us better off, than what we were, and has come really into play without giving away the whole playbook and indulging that. But it's really come into play in this season for me in my life. And when you do
Mhm.
that, you give your children options. You are able to help in unexpected ways. So kudos to you. Kudos to all the men who recognize that it's important to leave your children something, when you leave this earth. Let's go back to that peace part, Mr. Xavier. I was telling one of
Yeah.
my buddies, one of my guy friends, I said, yeah, I'm going to have a couple of guys on this week talking about what men want. And he said, I don't think he used the word peace, but he used another word, and it was akin to peace. It was very similar to peace. Basically saying he was basically saying we don't want drama. And he had a second word, I forgot what that was, but it was very similar to this word peace. We hear that a lot as women. How does a woman, how can a woman be a man's peace? Can you help us see practically what that looks like?
Yes. Yes. The first thing is you know, to learn how to be quiet.
Yeah, that's the
I mean,
word. That's the word he used.
it
That's
is
the
a
word he
learn how to
used.
be
That's the word
quiet.
he used.
But yeah, I want to be quiet. It's but I think if we want to get in depth, what
Yep.
I believe peace is, and it's funny you said the Bible. I'm gonna reference the Bible too, because in the book of Proverbs it says that you know understanding understanding wife is a gift from God. Um,
Ooh. Ooh.
so I know, right? Yeah, it says, yeah, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. But it also says in Proverbs, I'm quoting it, but I remember it stuck there. Understanding wife is a gift from God. So
Mm.
what I believe is it's a woman who truly understands her man.
Mm.
Like she does whatever it takes. Like the man that she really desires, because I've also read, and I don't think this was in the Bible, but it says, what a woman wants is to be desired by her man. You
Mm.
know, so the thing is, if you want to crack that, if you want the hack, really try to, if you, the man that you love, um, that you want to see as your man, really try to understand him. You know, the complexities, like the things that he has to deal with in life. I mean, especially, you know, as a black man, you know. I mean, I can't really speak for white men, but even they feel like the world is, you know, is the weight of the world's on their shoulders, you know, or but just speaking as a, you know, as a black man, you go out and you have to deal with a lot of stuff. You know, you got to deal with issues with work. You know, you have to deal with, you know, maybe racism. You have to deal with, well, I won't say just say racism, but we could say, you know, discrimination. You have to every you got bills coming left and right. You know, everybody got their hand out. They want you to pay. Like it's you have to deal with all of that stuff, and you know you have to. You know, you sometimes you got to deal with health issues. You got to deal with. We have all these things in the world we got to deal with. And then it's like when you come home after you know battling the world, you know. Your home is supposed to be a place of refuge. It's supposed to be a place of peace. Like I can think, whew, I can breathe. But then it's like when you come home and your woman's there and she comes with a whole nother like a truckload of I need this, and blah 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 and nagging and all of this and
Yeah.
I need you to fix the other half of the house and I want you to fix the car and why you ain't did this and you know what you ain't taking me out lately and blah blah, blah. It's like oh, you ain't yeah, we ain't been out in forever, and you don't date me no more, and you don't this, that, and you know, I need this, and I need this new person, I need this new shoe, and blah blah blah. And if you was a real man, you blah blah. It's like that is not what I came here for. I came here for some quiet. I want to be able to think. I want to. Here I am, going to war with the world, and I'm thinking that you're gonna, I don't know, patch up some of my bruises and rub my shoulder, tell me it's gonna be okay. I'm
Yeah.
thinking I'm gonna get that nurturing spirit from you, and next thing I know, I come with I come with round two. Round one was the world, and then I come here now. My woman is round two, and it's like, dang, I did not expect a second. It's like it really is like I knew I had one boxing match, but then it's like I come here and there was another
Oh,
boxing match,
another
and
one.
nobody told me about. Right? Yeah, I didn't come here for this. So yeah,
Mm.
I need her to be the opposite. I need her to be. I don't need her to be my second boxing opponent. I need her to be the trainer in my corner. I need her to be the hey, it's gonna be okay. You know, you're doing good. You know, here's some water, here's some ice. You know, I know you just got finished. I know you just got finished with that hard bout with the world, but here's some ice. You know, this is how. This is how I think we need to attack next time you go out there. Round two is tomorrow. But I don't want you to be round two. So.
You know what?
I guess that's the analogy I just came up with. Go ahead.
I love it. No, I'm over here laughing, but to me, Xavier, that is so real, and that is so raw. Like, and I hear that, and I hear it, I hear it, I hear it from guys, and I think that the successful women and successful marriages understand how to not just hear it, but to do it. And listen,
Right.
not have an excuse of, well, he's out there doing, I'm out here doing so, because that can happen with women too. Well, he out here talking about he need blah blah blah. I need, but if we're going to have that attitude, we already know it's not going to work. You understand? So
Yeah.
let's just say, let me help my sisters out. Let me help the sistering out, okay, sisters, because I hear you all, okay. If I have my knees too, okay, all right, help us out, Xavier. So if a woman says, okay, I know this is what he needs. I know he doesn't want round two. I think you just gave a beautiful illustration of what it looks like and what it shouldn't look like. Help us sisters understand, how does a woman then get her, if she's going to put herself, let's say she puts herself in the position to be his piece, to be a guy's piece, how does she best get her needs met? What does that look like? If she's being your peace. If she's, when you come home, she's got the nice jazz music playing and got dinner waiting for you, and and you may be busy, and she hadn't gone out, or you hadn't gone out on a date in the past 3 weeks or month or 6 weeks. How does she get her needs met if she's doing all the things that she needs to do for her man?
You mean like when you say her needs met, you mean how does she get in return what she's looking for?
Yeah, or for instance, for the ones, I'm specifically speaking to the example that you used, when you said that she's like, we hadn't gone out on a date, we hadn't done this. You need to fix this over here. You need to do this, and blah blah blah. So if there are things that she desires, or if there are things that she wants to ask, of her man, how does she best get on her radar, on his radar?
Oh, well, that's kind of a tricky thing to be honest. Number
Okay.
one, number one, he has to be that type of guy who does the things that she likes. Because
Mm,
it's kind of hard to get someone to do something out of their their nature.
mhm.
And I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just I, let me. And I've used this example before. If if it's like if you like, and I know this is kind of off topic, but kind of go against what we're talking about. But if you're someone who, if you're a person who likes hood guys or something like that, like you like a guy that's from the hood or a country boy, he's probably not going to take you to the opera. You know,
Yeah.
he's probably not going to take you
True.
to to the orchestra. It's your guy can't be everything.
Yeah.
Unless he's just one of those type of people, he's just I guess a Renaissance man or something. But you from what? So my guess my thing is have a man who might not necessarily just speaks your love language, but at least he knows your love language.
Hmm.
If you're a person, if you're a woman who likes gifts, who likes to to go out and do those things, at least have a man who's aware of those things. Um, and who's willing to do it. Some guys like to spoil, and that's how they show, hey, look, that's how they show their appreciation. Um, but the thing is, he has to be aware of that, But if you got a guy that's just a, average Joe country, whatever, he never really been nowhere outside of, I don't know, Butler, Alabama, or something, Sweetwater, Alabama. He's probably not gonna know about the art walk and all of these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the thing is, number one, have the type of guy who's knowledgeable of those things. And if he's not, um, you have to, see what his love language is and take it for that. And what you may have to do is, you may have to learn how to get those things elsewhere. If your man that you have that you love, if he's not getting it, get it elsewhere. And I don't mean like from a cheating aspect or anything. But what I'm saying is, if you're a person who wants to get out and you like to go shopping, he might not know how to shop, but he might give you the money. Say, all right, so he give you money, you gotta go take yourself shopping or go hang out with your friends, your girls. They might be into those things. I think one of the things is we try to make our partners everything, and they're not. You know, you have other friends in your life that can do those things. So I think you don't, if you try not to depend on one person to be your everything. I think you use the community of people that's in your life, and you make that work for you, in my opinion. And lastly, I think this is the probably now it's probably what I should have led with, but what I think is important is you have to make the man want to provide those things for you as a reward, I guess, or I don't want to say just a reward, but just provide those things out of love. And to make him want to do that is for you to you have to become the woman he's afraid to lose.
Say that again now. I'm over here typing some of your notes out to post. Say that again. Become the type of woman he's afraid to
I
lose.
said, become the woman that he's afraid to lose.
How?
But if all right, goes back to what I said in the beginning. If you understand him, you know him. You you know you know what he likes, you know if you actually know him and you actually compliment him, he's going to say, hey, you know what? Like he all right, first of all, he needs to realize that he needs you in his life. That's number one. And and it has to be one of those aha moments, you know, and it's and the thing, and sometimes he may not even realize it until, you know, after, you know, you done said, you know what, I need a break and I'm going. Like you're the one that's been, you know, fixing his plate, clean the bathroom, and then I don't know, you know, he piss you off, and then you go on about your business, say, you know what, we need a break, we gone. And then one day it's like he gonna go to the bathroom and realize, man, it's kind of dirty in here, you know, or you know what, man, my dinner ain't fixing itself. What's going on? You know, and I'm not saying that you need to be his slave, you know, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is when you understand your man and you know how to compliment him and you do those small things, when he realizes those small things ain't happening no more, or when he learns that, hey, look, nah, she's a good one. I need this. I'm not getting this elsewhere. You know, that's when he's like, you know what? You know, she really appreciates me, and I'm going to show her my appreciation. And I know it shouldn't be a tit for tat thing, but I think that until a man really appreciates you, he's not going to be willing to do those things, you know. And there are guys that appreciate women on the front end. You say, hey, I want to do everything for you to show you that I appreciate you, that I love you. But for some reason, y'all don't like those guys.
Not me. Not me.
Yeah,
Send them my
or
way.
you usually the guys who they say like they like to lead with their wallets, so to
Yeah.
speak, or guys. So yeah, those guys are they doing a lot to show you. You know, for some reason, those ain't the ones. I feel like women like the guys that's a bit of a challenge. Um,
Whoa. Whoa. I'm listening. Whoa.
I, I,
Whoa.
I don't know why, but it seems like y'all like the guys that's a bit of a challenge, and then it's like, and maybe you want to feel like in a way like, hey, I'm the one that got him to, you know, I don't know if it's a validation thing, like, hey, look, I'm the one that tamed the wild bull or whatever you want to call it, but I feel like they want the man as a challenge, and but the guy that's not a challenge, the guy that's, the one that they feel like if he's too easy, they feel like he can walk over him, and they don't appreciate that. But he's the one that's going to be, they don't mind taking you shopping. He's going to do a lot to try to impress you. He's going to take you to the nice restaurants. He's going to buy you whatever. But I don't think that's fulfilling, to have someone that just gives you whatever. I always say this, and this analogy when it comes to this. It's like when you have a kid, and when a kid turns 16, if you give the kid a red Corvette at 16 or whatever, like they get the nicest car at 16, but they didn't earn it,
Yeah.
they're not going to appreciate it. They're going to wreck it. But if you teach the child that, hey, look, no, if you want a car, you're gonna have to do ABC. They have to earn it. Like, or if you say, hey, look, all right, I'll buy the car, but you're gonna have to, pay the insurance or something where they actually have to have some skin in the game. That kid
Yes.
is they're gonna appreciate it more. So I feel like it's the same analogy when it comes to relationships. If you just give someone everything, they're not they're gonna feel entitled, and they're not gonna appreciate it. Versus where they have to earn things and work themselves up, work their way up. I think that they appreciate it more. Um, and I think that's where the complexities of the relationship comes, because I feel like a lot of people are already entitled. You know, they want to be rewarded from the last relationship that they didn't get. They pay out, they severance pay for. Like,
That is
nah,
hilarious.
I want to do it the last one. Then it's like, nah, you starting over. Like, how crazy is that? Like, imagine if you went to a new job and say, hey,
Yeah.
look, well, I never got my vacation paid, my PTO and severance from the last job. So I'm here now. You need to pay me what that last
Hey,
job
me.
paid me. They're gonna be like, when you
Right.
start a new relationship, you start a new job.
Yeah.
You start from scratch. So
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, and that's just my take on it. And another thing is, you're probably not asking why. Why should a woman have to do this? And this is the why of
Okay.
this. I feel like why a woman should have to put in all this work for a man. I shouldn't say a woman, but I say the woman who desires a relationship
Mm-hmm.
more, she's the one that's gonna have to put in the work, because I feel like she desires a relationship more. If you're with someone that desires a relationship less, they're not gonna put in work for it. They don't see the value. So the person that values it more is the one that's gonna have to put in more work. Um, and men could value the relationship more. And again, I'm not speaking for most men, but I'm just saying, for example, it goes back to what I said earlier. Man wants peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, my thing is this: if or peace and quiet, we'll say peace and quiet. If I come home, you know, to peace and quiet, you know, and there's no woman there, I mean, why would I bring in a woman that's not bringing that? I if I can live without having one in my house and already have peace and quiet by default, there's no point in bringing someone in and eliminating it. I mean, I don't know. I probably went too deep there.
No, no, no. I hear exactly what you're saying. You're saying if I can have peace and I can come to my home and it's my sanctuary, why would I bring someone in that environment who's going to disrupt that? If I'm going to
Yes.
leave, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. Right, exactly. Why would I bring someone in and they're ruining what I already have by default? I think you
So
were on the go.
no, yeah, and I think women have to understand that, and I think the successful ones do understand that. That. And let me ask you this: you talked about you used this terminology, Xavier. You said the one who really wants this, she's going to have to work. Let me just say this: I think relationships require work. If you want, it requires work.
Sure.
It requires discomfort because listen, if you don't want to do the work, then just stay by yourself or just continue to date around and just do whatever, whatever. But like you said, the work and understanding your man. Now, let me ask you this. Now, I'm gonna flip it because I hear the lady saying, "Do you believe the same is true for the man? That he has to understand his woman?" I understand. I'm talking to guys, and we're trying to figure out what you all want. Do you think the onus is on him as well to do the same, to put in the work and to understand her as well?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I, I I think that as a man, if you try to understand, if you as a man, if you just understand just women in general, I think you will have a more peaceful life. And by say understanding, I mean having some form of emotional intelligence.
Mm.
Just knowing, knowing what makes y'all tick, or knowing when to respond, how to respond. Because, and again, I'm speaking as a man with, I have multiple like girls in my life. As far as like, I got, I have my mom, I have my sisters, I have my daughter, or and they're all I mean, respectfully females. I'm not saying that like label, but they're girls, and their emotions are always all over the place. And I have to know that whenever they're expressing them, not to take it personally, and really try to hear you, and and understand why emotions are there. I think most men don't have emotional intelligence. They don't know how to use emotions to navigate a problem. Like and this is not something that I just know off bat. This is something that it took a lot of work for me to figure out. Okay, this is what emotions are. This is what they do. So I think that men should have some understanding of, okay, not to take things personal when a woman is expressing themselves emotionally, and use it as don't use it as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't feel like it's a nuisance, but it's a tool. Now, it may come at the most inconvenient time when you're trying to sit down and watch football and drink beer. Like, but hey, look, she probably needs to talk right then. And I think that's at the point that's when we got to be fair. All right, let me pause the game, whatever. Let me see what's going on right now. I mean,
Yeah.
and some things can't wait till the end of the game or wait till in the morning. We got to go ahead and address it then and there. So, I do think it's important for men to know women in general, and especially his own. But I mean, again, and again, I didn't want to try to make it specific that a woman has to put in more work than a man. I think the person who values a relationship more is going to have to put in more work. That could be man or woman. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, yeah. But the reason I say by default that, the woman typically values more because, I mean, y'all the ones keep asking that question, what men want.
Yeah. Right. Right. We do. Right.
Yeah, and that's why I say that because hey, who are the ones having these relationship forums? But I think deep down on both ends, men and women, I think internally we have something that we desire and is going to require the opposite sex, and
Mm.
I think we all have that, and we're gonna have to get on the same page in order to achieve what we want. Whereas I do think that men, like I said, his legacy, your woman is going to be a good woman is going to be an asset to you. If a woman, I think women desires, I think y'all not desire, but y'all, I think y'all appreciate family overall. Your husband and your children and things like that. So, and I think you want to have a man that you could depend on. That's all those things that they say we supposed to be: provider, leader, all those good things. You're gonna want that. Someone that you can look up to have that. And we just got to be on the same page. And we can't. We can't allow the machines, or should I say the powers that be, to keep us divided. At the end, we have to understand, we have to value each other, we have to know why we're important to each other, and we have to work really hard to work together. It's a team effort.
This conversation has been so good. I hope that I have been fair in giving you an opportunity to talk. I probably could just listen and let you go on, because one thing about it, Xavier, I know as women sometimes we talk a lot, and we have a lot to insert, but I do think there's a void of understanding. And so what I'm endeavoring to do over these next couple of days is, regardless of what I think I've known in these 52 years of life, regardless of what I think I know and what I have together, I think the most important thing right now is listening. So I want you to understand that we appreciate you. And in fact, for all the ladies in the back, I'm going to just mention some things in retrospect. Be his peace. What do mature men want in relationships? Be his peace. Don't make him everything. Lean on your network if there is a deficiency that he has.
I like that.
Thank you, sir. That means I took good note. Well, Xavier, I used to be a reporter and still am to a degree, so I have to listen real well. I'm over here taking notes while you're talking. Become the
Okay.
woman he's afraid to lose. And what does that look like? You're willing to maybe do what maybe most aren't willing to do. I mean, whether we like it or not, y'all. Ask some folks who are married and in successful relationships. And perhaps most important, understand your man. He clarified in this conversation. Go back and listen to it if you're coming in a little bit later. He clarified too that man has to also understand his woman as well. And I want to encourage you to enter into the conversation if you have questions. Even after this airs, Xavier, I can go back and we can answer your questions. What do you think about all that's been said? What's your opinion? We want you to join in the conversation. Understanding what men want in relationships. Here's how you follow Xavier on Facebook, Xavier T. Smith, Jason Mamoka on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to let you have the floor and close out with some final words as we wrap this up. Phenomenal information, phenomenal insight, phenomenal conversation. In closing, I'm going to let you have the floor, Mr. Smith.
Um, well, I just want to say thank you, Kisa, for having me on. I really appreciate this, for sharing your platform. To be honest, I didn't know which route this convo was gonna go. I think this. No, I did. Well, no,
Well, yeah.
I didn't know which route I was gonna go. I think I just came on like, yeah, just ready to tell some jokes. But
Okay.
I do think that this was very healthy for you, you asking questions and then actually listening. And I think what it did was it even helped me uncover some things
Mm,
that I didn't even realize until it was actually, expressed.
mm,
And I'm one of those people who I'm really big on I could be very sarcastic or I like satire, which is why like some of the stuff I always find the humor in a lot of these things. To me, a lot of the relationship talks to me, I kind of look at it like a satire, but I think at the end of the day, you even helped me uncover like what's important at the end of the day, and just by asking those questions. And at the end of the day, we have to work. We have to see what's valuable and what's important to us, and realizing, hey, look, we have to do these things sooner than later because you know tomorrow's not promised. We don't have forever. I think a lot of us feel like we have forever, and I think a lot of times when we do discover things, it's too late. Especially as men, as black men, we don't want to get married and settle down until we're in our late 40s, early 50s. But now we have, two or three health issues. You got, diabetes and heart issues. You're on your deathbed, and now you want a companion, somebody care about you. But now, you got a big gut and ED. So
right.
you
That
got
part.
nothing to give us. Yeah, and yeah, you got that and bad credit and all of this stuff. But it's like, no, understand what's yeah. I'm just saying you got all these health issues and bad credit, but it's
Okay.
like, nah, understand like no, like what's important now, and if you're a man who wants to build a legacy and your family have. Well, let's just say this: if you want to leave something behind, you got to have someone to leave something behind too.
Mm,
And and the thing is, you just realize you don't have forever. You're not gonna live forever, so you got to take care of your health now. You have to do the work. And I wasn't always whatever. If anyone took away, thought this was a positive exchange, this ain't always been me. I've been doing therapy for the last 3.5 years,
good. Good.
yeah, and it's been real helpful for me of really pinpointing, okay, what's valuable versus me just instead of me just being a typical man acting on instinct, because I think that's what a lot of men are. They're just acting on instinct, and their instinctive nature is just gratifying whatever is important at that time. If let's just say this, like if I'm hungry and I want to eat, I'm not gonna go for the nutritional meal. I'm gonna go to Burger King or McDonald's. I'm just because I'm just thinking, oh, I just want to eat, not realizing, hey, there's consequences for eating that versus eating this. I want the fast food versus the healthy meal, and I feel like that's the same way we approach our relationships. It's like, oh, I have sexual urges. I'm gonna go ahead and get the quick fix, the easy thing versus having a formidable relationship. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, we want that fast food, gratification, and you can't treat people that way. You have to really value the you have to value our counterparts, the opposite sex, in order for things to work. What you truly want, because I'm just saying that, like a man, let's just say this: if you're a man who wants to be healthy and look good, that fast food ain't gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? That fast food ain't gonna give you a six pack. It's gonna give you a gut. If you're a man who wants a six pack, yeah. And I feel like it's the same thing in relationships. That little quick, that easy. Yeah, if you want that easy girl, she ain't gonna give you what you're looking for, which is a legacy, a family, and things like that. So
Mhm.
you have to look at it, from that aspect, like what's truly important to you, and put in the work for what's valuable.
I love it. Good conversation. I think you've helped some women tonight, and I just remembered this while I was talking to you. Excuse me, while you were talking just now, you mentioned something earlier. You talked about women. You wonder if they really want the good guy up front, if he's punished for being the good guy up front and showing his hand, and like, hey, I'm just, here I am. I'm putting all the cards on the table. And let me say to you, um, I have been the woman who did not respect the guy, who put everything on the table
Mhm.
in full disclosure back in the day. When you bump your head a
Right.
little bit, you go through divorces, you recognize that this thing is more complicated. There are more layers to it than just boy meets girl. And we go off and, we live happily ever after. Then you start realizing, not only do you realize it was a mistake, but you start welcoming the opportunity to see people who put their cards on the table and who are just simple, uncomplicated, and want to live a good life. This is 52-year-old Kisa, not 25-year-old Kisa who was starry-eyed and the whole world was ahead. And I look back, it's almost been 30 years, Xavier, since I've come here to Birmingham.
Mm,
And time has flown. I came here when I was
yeah.
24. Time has
Mm,
flown. So, like you said, we don't have all this time. Time is moving. So, I will say for the evolved woman and for the mature woman, let me enter into the space and say we do want those guys who are going to put their cards on the table. We do want those guys who are going to be legit because we've bumped our heads enough to see, if we're in this space and not married, that, you know what, maybe it is really that simple. And you know what? That is attractive instead of all this game that you have to decipher through. So let me just say that maybe not for the young woman who feels like she has the world ahead of her. Maybe that's not attractive to her. Maybe the game is. But for a mature woman, and I would even dare say an evolved woman, because maturity is not an age, it's a state of mind. For the a
yeah.
mature and evolved woman mentally, put the cards on the table, baby. Let's see what it is, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. No harm, no foul. You go on to what you need to. So I'm just saying that, and I'm gonna stand up for the sisters who I know who do want that. But I'm feeling 100%, because Kisa used to be that person. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for all the guys who feel I don't want to show, because y'all get hurt too. Y'all
Yeah.
experience game and devastation too. But I'm just saying there is a sect of us out there who respect it, and there's a sect of us out there who value that. I have to enter into that space, having been the one who didn't, who didn't once upon a time. And I'm gonna, stand up for my good friends who would value and appreciate that too. I know that I'm connected. And for those of you who are listening to this, if you are the mature woman who wants that, I want you to let Xavier know and let all his guy friends know, say, hey, I am one who would value that, let us know, because I'm working on something, y'all. I can just sense it with this, but I'm working on something, not for me, but I want this thing to be bigger for us, because I'm the eternal optimist. I just believe that as much heck as we're dealing with in the relational arena, I believe that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, Xavier. I really do.
Well, if you don't mind, I know we're running on time, but you
No,
said something that
go
made me
ahead.
think about it. When you were talking about the young Kisa, you were the one that used to, you like you and I'm not saying this to pick on you. I think this is a pattern that I see,
Go
and
for
in
it.
general, like
Go for it.
I think a lot of times, we might want the. I mean, this goes both ways. We might want the hot girl, the bad boy, or the hot girl versus
Yes.
the good, the clean cut person when we're younger.
Yes.
I
Yes.
and I think, and this is a bigger issue, and I think a lot of us have this. It's hard for kids who come from broken homes to see what a healthy relationship looks like.
So true. So
And again, I'm not singling anyone out. I'm just saying that if you're someone who's never witnessed what a healthy, two-parent household looks like,
that's right.
you may not know, you may not recognize it when early on. Like, and I think that's what happens a lot of times. These nice guys, these good guys or whatever, I think they are someone who, for some reason, they actually value relationships. They value marriage. They've witnessed it and they want that for themselves. And they
Sure.
try to present it, and and I'm only saying this because I'm sure, and I mean, I don't know your background, but
Yeah.
let's just say this. I'm pretty sure, back in the day, you probably was the one that all the guys was trying to get at.
Xavier.
I mean, because you say right now, like you say you're 50, you don't look it. So I know back in the day you was the hot mama that everyone, all the guys was trying to get at.
Thank you.
Like, oh yeah, so if that's the case, the guy who's probably, he you probably had a lot of options. So and for some reason in our communities we do, I don't know why, we glamorize the bad boys, and the bad boys and the bad girls, so to speak. And you people want what's hot, and I'm not saying that person's a bad person. It's just that understanding that person probably needs a little more work before they're ready for the right commitment and things like that. So I do think that it's important for our kids to understand, what dealing with healthy parties or just know what they're dealing with. Let's just say that if they want to pursue, a healthy relationship down the line, and also we need to be healed for our kids, so they can know what to look for.
That's so
At the end of
true.
the day.
That's so true. I I do not have any children, so I didn't get a chance to pass along any of my drama, to kids. But to your point, I did not see a healthy relationship, so I didn't know. I feel to some
Right,
degree,
right.
huh?
No, right. I'm listening.
Oh, I
I
was
mean,
saying,
and I'm just saying, me too. I didn't see one myself. My parents were divorced when I was a kid, and my dad was in my life. It's just I didn't see the
yes,
whole dynamic of, and that really affected me for a long time. It's like, what's the point of having a wife?
yes,
Why they're
yes,
just gonna leave you anyway?
yes,
And I feel like a lot of people, they have that, but
yeah,
it took also me being around my peers who grew up in healthy households and see how it helps, how they are, they seem to be, their outlook is different, and I see how there's a lot of benefits in it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And no, I'm not bothered by any of it. I kind of use myself as an example. And what you said was absolutely true. I didn't see the example. My father was in my life, but as far as a healthy, marital relationship, I came by that into my adulthood. And so,
Hmm.
even yeah, I mean, just let's just say I came into my adulthood. I'm a little bit of a, I would say, a late bloomer along some things, but what I do think, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I still have the opportunity, if that's a route that I choose to go. There's nothing I can do about the past. There's nothing I can do about
Right.
what happened, other than take those lessons and say, you know what, this is what it looks like to be better. But I'm not rushing anything. I'm at a place, Xavier, where I would say is probably more peace than even I understand, because I don't
Hmm.
have to have it. I don't have to force it anymore, because I understand that you have to make a right choice in that arena as it relates to relationships, and particularly marriage. Because if you don't, it's back to your point. Why disturb your peace? I'm a person who believes in peace. And so if a person is not adding to that, if I'm not going to add to that for them, why do that? Let's all be made for love. Let's just say we're gonna go different, or go pursue some different things. And the thing that I do know too is that sometimes it can appear to be peaceful in the early stages, but it's also important, how do you handle conflict? How do you handle those challenges? Because you're going to have that. It's not if, it's just a matter of when. And if you can't navigate that, that can be a whole other thing. But that'll be for another show. How about that? That'll be for another panel that
Yeah.
you and I that you
Yeah.
and I talk about. I was listening to see. I am so grateful. I'm going to tell everybody again how to follow you. He's Xavier T. Smith, and I first connected with Xavier on Facebook. I don't even know how we became friends, but I know I laugh at some of the stuff that you have on there. You just always have me laughing with something sarcastic or something funny or some commentary that you have. So follow him if you want your dose of relational funny or relational sarcasm. He's also on TikTok, Jason Mocha, and also Instagram. Hey Xavier, I'm hilarious. I know. I already know Xavier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Me too.
All right.
But I hope you're doing well. Thank you for having me on. This has been fun.
All right. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. That it wasn't too bad. So you've helped some
Yeah,
ladies. We'll chat.
you're
Well, we'll
welcome.
chat until next time. Stay tuned, because I have in my mind there's some things that I want you to do in the future so you can help even more women. So stay tuned, Xavier.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful
All
day.
right.
All right. Bye,
All right.
Xavier. All right. Xavier Smith, y'all. What wasn't he just pleasant? I mean, like pleasant, and really, for his in a really good age group, I would say. He is, let's say he is over 25, over 30, under 50. So like that 40ish, nearing that 40ish age group, which I think is so wonderful. Like, it's not too young, not too old, but just hearing the perspective, from him. So I hope that helped. And remember, even though we're closing out on this broadcast, I'm going to constantly check the comments. If there's anything that you want me to tell Xavier, or any questions that you have for him, I have his information on the screen, so you can reach out to him. Or if I need to do it on your behalf, just let me know, because I think it's important that we continue these sorts of conversations. And intentionally, we're going a little bit longer today, because I know I'm connected to a number of you who really want to understand what guys want in relationships. So please don't be shy about asking questions. Please don't be shy to be able to get your information. Okay. He was so gracious to give us his time. Coming up tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to have a couple more gents on who are going to talk about what men want in relationships to help my female friends out. Okay. So to Tuesday, I'll actually have Eric Kirk on. So I want you to tune in to that as well. One of my brothers, he's an author. He's newly married. So he's going to be in that over 50 club. So that's going to be another age group, but a really, really good age group, but slightly different, to be able to give you some sound wisdom on how to navigate relationships as a mature man and a mature woman. Hey, y'all, I'm Kisa, Coach K. And listen, I'm being so serious. I have not named these segments yet. So do you have a name for me? Do you have a name for what I could call these? I deal in that relationship arena, emotional abuse recovery, and all of that great stuff. So what in the world can I call these segments? I need your help with that. So anyway, I'm Kisa, Coach K. I certainly hope that you have enjoyed this. And I'm always listening if you have relationship topics that you want to discuss. I'll see you soon, okay? We're back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like and share the broadcast. That's how you help us. Mwah. All made for love, everybody.